Pump starts and stops over and over. Hey, I've got a 3-year-old Stay Right Superman variable speed that will start and stop every few seconds when turned on. The motor will start and pull water, but stop after a second or two, and then try to start again on its own. The impeller is free spinning, and there are no leaks.
Okay, a couple possibilities. Just because the impeller is free spinning and the shaft is spinning doesn't mean that it's not overheating. I mean, granted, if it just runs for a few seconds and shuts off, that doesn't make a whole lot of sense. However, there's a couple things that could make a pump shut off without it being the power going on and off. First off, there's a high limit heat sensor that if the internal pump motor reaches a certain temperature, it will shut the system off. Shuts off, cools off, pump kicks back on, tries to run, overheats, shuts off, cycles on and off. That's a possibility, number one. Not sure about in this case. Being that the system is variable speed, you have another option that the drive motor itself could be malfunctioning and calling to go on and to go off. So there's some electronic issues there. As I think about it, the third possibility, which not likely, especially if it's short bursts, is lately some of the pumps have been showing up having one or two of the buttons as egg timers. And let's say you don't have a massive control to control this thing, electronic control, and you go and you pump speed 3 and you walk away and the pump's running and next thing you know it shuts off. What you have to look on the controller itself is there an egg timer that's shutting it off at a certain period of time. So there's kind of only a few things that can happen that would cause that problem. Like the egg timer, not likely because that would usually be minutes. If it's just a few seconds, does it run at the very beginning when it's cold and then shut off after 20 seconds, 30 seconds, and then cycle on and off? That could be that the pump itself is overheating. What would cause the motor itself to overheat would be as the brushes start to go, as the bearings start to go, they start producing heat. If they start rusting up inside, they start creating heat, and that heat internally can't disperse fast enough. Temperature builds up, shuts it off. Likely, though, in this case, it's probably in some electrical component into the variable speed controller that sits on the motor. So you have the motor as one piece, but then you have a controller that sits on top of it. That's a separate unit that tells the motor, it's called a variac. It basically changes the voltage and the amperage inside the motor to get the motor to speed up or to slow down. And likely whatever is happening electrically in that unit. That would be at this point, my best educated guess anyway.